What was the creepiest thing that your parents ever did in their lifetimes, and why? I'm not sure if this is sad or creepy, but ever since my mother died, my father had always been rewatching videos of their marriage, and I understand that it may help soothe the pain of losing your loved one. But however, my dad has been doing this for over 10 years. It's the only thing he watches nowadays. And when I try to encourage him to watch movies with me, he would immediately stare into my soul and tell me to leave him alone, in a groan tone. My dad and I aren't that close, sadly, but I hope he would find his peace. My uncle would always stay in his room for 8 hours straight every day. I thought he might have been doing some remote work, but he specifically told me not to come inside his room when he is gone for the day. One day I just got a little curious, and it turns out his room is full of human-sized doll toys. They looked very old and some of them were a little broken. His room was dirty and dusty. I'm not sure what he was doing in there, but when my dad found out, he kicked my uncle out of the house immediately. Very creepy. Ever since when I was a child, my mother would always stare at me through the slight gap on my door whenever I had gone asleep. I did not think about this for a while until my high school era began. I found it very creepy, and my mother won't stop doing it no matter what I told her. Even when I was able to add locks to my door, I can still see the silhouette shadow of my mother's feet clearly visible. What's creepy about it was the fact that she has always remained quiet. Eventually I got used to it, and then I moved out of the house to someplace far with my girlfriend. My dad would secretly watch My Little Pony whenever everyone is gone from the house. I found out when I slept in for the weekend, and my dad thought that everyone was gone from the house. So I heard My Little Pony playing as it echoes throughout the house. He was playing it on full volume. I mean, he could be a mean fan of the series, but I find it quite odd since he never mentions anything about it before. When showed myself, my dad quickly turns the TV off and makes an excuse about how he couldn't find his football series. He then says that he hates My Little Pony. My mom is a collector for old antique dolls. She was always fascinated by them, so she collected like 100 plus dolls in her lifetime. One of her dolls was a Japanese kimono girl, and she would place it in the hallways between my room and the bathroom. I won't lie, the doll is creepy as hell, and it led me to holding in my wee-wee throughout the whole night. I told my mother to place that doll elsewhere, but she won't listen to me. She says that the doll offers protection. Yep, protection from me going to the bathroom. My mother was telling me that I used to have an imaginary friend when I was only 4 years old. I would usually call him Baba and pretend to play games with this Baba friend. I don't remember any of it, but my mother told that at one point I was crying because I was never able to find Baba anymore. This creeped me out. My dad would often stare into the mirror for like an hour or so whenever his anger is out of control. It's his way of anger management, but I wonder why he does this instead of the 100 other methods to calm down. One time he would get mad at me for not freezing the meat. I was too busy playing Fortnite ranked, and he would stop and go to the bathroom to look into the mirror for an hour or so. That got me creeped out, but I didn't dare question his way of methods. I'm not sure if this counts, but my dad was working as a suicide hotline operator, and at one point he was talking to a 19-year-old male with depression. The creepy part was when my dad mentioned that the 19-year-old was a very quiet person, and it seemed like he was whispering for some reason. When my dad asked what was wrong, the 19-year-old hung up for no reason. A week later, a dead body was found who looked to be a teenager and was 19 years old according to his parents. To this day, my dad was not sure what happened during the call.